Mark W?
Why are you a child?
Because of when I was born.
What is up, Chocolatiers? Welcome back to another video today. And we're covering Severance Season 2. Severance is kind of one of my favorite shows on TV. And I know you hear this, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like I've kind of got a little different nature when it comes to the show, which I know I'm not the only one out there. And that is the fact that I didn't hop on the hype train. I kind of want to call out my friends on this one because I remember when I finished Season 1, I saw that finale. And that finale was probably one of the greatest finales of television history. It was shocking, it was crazy, it had enough reveals, enough pushing the plot forward while also giving you more questions. And I think that was a perfect season. And I remember telling all my friends, I was like, guys, get on Severance. These are people that also had Apple. They were watching Ted Lasso at the time. And I was like, no, stop. Severance is literally the best show on Apple. And I kept hooping and hollering, it's nobody cares. Season 2 drops. All this hype starts building all of a sudden. Everybody starts tuning in going, man, it's still kind of good. And then now everybody's a Severance fan. I said, come on, guys. Bunch of hype beasts. But I will say this, all jokes aside, I'm glad that people are finally realizing this show is amazing and coming into it in the fray. People are starting Season 1 right now. I haven't finished Season 2, so on and so forth. So with that, this will be spoiler-free. And I just kind of want to cover my favorite parts of the show, because this is going to be a very positive review. But there also is some things that I kind of want to get out of the way first. Some things that I really just didn't love about this season. And I feel like the main theme of this season, ironically, especially with what the show is about, is disjointed. This season, while it worked for me, and while I still think this is an amazing show, I still think it's Apple's best show, there was like a lot of, it's not filler. I saw people online like, man, it's filler. Oh, this episode's boring. It wasn't that. I was entertained every single episode. It's just that, for example, halfway through the season, they decide to spend a couple episodes on certain characters. One episode in particular, actually both, are very crucial to the point and the plot of the episode. But once again, we're not getting these all at once like a Netflix show. We're getting this week to week. And so that means sometimes you would get like a 3-ish week gap, sometimes more, depending on what character you are, before we would see that character again. And I feel like in Season 1, they had that perfect gap of where, okay, you get Outtie Mark, you get Innie Mark, sometimes the same episode. At least within an episode, you would get that, right? You would get other characters doing stuff, whatever. And this season, I feel like they kind of want to bridge the gap between a lot of other characters. So they kind of want to give you more backstory on some characters, tell you about other characters, so on and so forth. And with that, like I said, came a lot of disjointedness because there are a lot of episodes where, you know, you don't see a character. For example, I feel like while Helly R's character, things we learned about her last season, I feel like while she was, fun this season, like she was, I feel like her character was kind of like less impactful, at least for me, because I feel like, at least once again for me, I haven't done any studies or checking out, I feel like she was like in this season less, because there's some things that happen with this character, but when, like, even like in the end, like when you see her doing stuff, I was kind of like, okay, I almost forgot this character was here because like we went 2 episodes and really didn't see her, and so that's kind of like my minor complaints is just that, the show was really, really focused and tight in Season 1, and while being the same way in Season 2, there's definitely, you can tell there's that gap because it felt like a Walking Dead situation where like, uh-oh, now we got an episode all about T-Dog, oh, now we got an episode all about Michonne, and it's like, when you get to the next episode after that, after spending 2 episodes on random characters, like, oh shit, I forgot all about Rick. Like, it's like, it was kind of like that, and it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, this is, like, because, like, all of its main plot, and that's the one thing that I love about the show, removing the factors from, like, the Walking Dead comparisons, all these other stuff, and this and that. Unlike those shows, everything they show us is plot-centric. For example, the 2 episodes in particular I'm talking about towards the end of the season that you get about different characters, they fill in background material. They fill in middle stuff, answer questions about stuff going forward that you need to know about. So they were never a waste of time. I do want to clarify that if you haven't seen the show. They're not a waste of time. A lot of people will fucking tell you that. They're not. But it's still a damn good show. And now I want to talk about all the positive stuff. This camera work is fucking insane. One of the episodes in particular, and you know the one I'm talking about. Actually, I will tell out the one. Episode 1, and then the other episode focusing on one character in particular. Pretty much the best episode of the season. And that episode had one of the people that work on the show. She finally directed something. It was like her first time directing something. And she directed that episode, and it was just probably the most beautifully shot episode of the season. Transitions were amazing. Little to no use of CGI, like she was saying, and it was just kind of blowing the doors off of everything that I was seeing in this show and other shows, and hell, even some movies as far as editing and stuff goes. And this was from a first-time director. Ben Stiller's a producer on the show. He also directed the last episode. I think he might have directed another episode, so he might have done the first one. But he does such a great job on this show. Love him so much. If you guys haven't checked out his other work, he had a little show called Is it In the Dark? About a blind girl. Came on CW, and so I feel like everybody was like, they checked out. This was actually a show. I remember the whole time I kept watching, it's like, this isn't a CW show. It literally feels like it should have came on like HBO or fucking Apple or something like that. Just because of how methodically crafted that show was, and it was very good. But I will say this, the real bread and butter is Adam Scott. Yes, you got Haley. Yeah, we've got Milicic, which also, he was my MVP of the season. Milicic, so fucking awesome. So cool. I loved him so much. His little big words and shit. Talking to that big guy, he has a moment where he kind of stands up for himself, and it's awesome. As you start learning more and more about this company, maybe some racist shit going on, maybe some this and that going on. And as you start putting these pieces together, the one that holds it all together is Adam Scott's character. This man, like this whole time I was watching this, so I had to explain this to somebody when I was watching the finale, because they had never seen the show. They were in the room, and I was like, I gotta watch this now. We can watch TV later. This is now. It's Severance time. I remember I was having to explain to them like how the Innie and Outtie system worked and stuff like that. And I was basically telling them, when you really think about it, like, it kind of just hit me. They are playing two different characters with different traits, different attitudes. Like, Outtie Mark is kind of like, kind of stoic, kind of like an asshole. He's just kind of there. He doesn't give a fuck, whatever, this and that. He's kind of questioning stuff, but he's kind of like more grounded in reality. Meanwhile, Innie Mark is kind of like, I'm falling in love, rainbows and flowers, I don't really like what they're doing in this company, fuck the company. Like, he's kind of like, he feels like a dude in his 20s, right? Meanwhile, Outtie Mark feels like he's his actual age. And I like how they portray that, especially like in Haley's character. She's got a lot of stuff going on this season, and just the way they're able to swap it on and off, like basically being a different fucking person, is absolutely outstanding. I'm going to end it here. This show is just, it absolutely keeps bursting through its ceilings, right? Like Jump Street, you gotta keep bursting through your ceilings. You gotta keep bursting through your fucking ceilings, right? And this show, I'm so ready for season 3. They just announced it last night at the time of recording this. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how I could not give this show anything but a 10 out of 10. It's just amazing. Like, even like how I was bitching about the disjointness, that's just coming out of reviewer brain. At the end of the day, I was still sitting there like, damn, I'm fucking with this episode, and I loved it. And so, from a personal heart, from personal preference, a 10 out of 10. This show is amazing. If you have not watched it, you happen to watch this review, go check out season 1. Apple TV is one of the cheapest streaming services, but yet they have the best shit. It's the funniest thing. Like, I have all the streaming services, like hell, even Tubi, and I don't even use that shit. But they literally have, like, as far as every show, like I would say out of every 10 shows they watch, 9 fucking hit. And when the 9 hit, they are all masterpiece hits. And the one that doesn't, it's like an 8.5. It's still fucking awesome. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, comparing like to Netflix, I was like, man, I watched Electric State. Meanwhile, over here on Apple, I just watched fucking Severance. You got Ted Lasso, you got Master of the Air, all these like crazy movies like Killers of the Flower Moon, stuff like that. And they just fucking don't miss. And it's so cheap. It's like, I think it's like $5. I'm on like the college student discount or some shit, where like you get Apple Music, fucking something else, and then I think it's like something stupid like their news or some shit. I'm not paying for that anyways. It's like something like that, and then it's Apple TV. It's like $5, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking nice. That's a good deal. $5 damn. Go check out Apple TV. Go check out Severance. Good ass show. That's all I have to say. Catch you guys on the next one.
I just want to be sure.
I love my popcorn. Movies, popcorn.